In this presentation, we're going to talk about 8 secrets to the business success of Lululemon.
Welcome to Let's Rethink Business, presented by Dale Beaumont and brought to you by businessblueprint.com.
One of the companies that I've observed over the last 3 years is the sports clothing manufacturer Lululemon Athletica. Over that time, I've seen them go from completely unknown to now dominating their category, and in the process, stealing away significant market share from the once untouchable brands such as Nike, Adidas, Puma, and Reebok. Their story, though, is not one of overnight success. They started in Canada with just one location next to a yoga studio, but now in 2012, they've grown to over $1 billion a year in revenue. Now, as a customer of Lululemon myself, I've gone through and observed a number of different success factors. And in this presentation, we're going to talk about 8 of the success factors that have led to Lululemon going from nothing to becoming a $1 billion company. Number 1, find an emerging market. Over the last 20 years, the number of people participating in alternative forms of fitness such as yoga, Pilates, Zumba, boot camps, and CrossFit have exploded. Now, the psychology of this kind of group of fitness mavericks, they're different. They see themselves as being individuals, as being understated, as being rebels, some of them even as hippies. So it stands to reason that wearing apparel with logos of big corporate brands plastered all over them doesn't really fit that particular market. We buy products about what those products say about ourselves, and sometimes even how we want to be perceived by other people. So enter Lululemon. They saw this emerging market and they thought, how can we service those people? What are the types of things that they actually want? And so their brand is something that's more subtle, with tiny little logos in the corner and unique elements of design that reflect this growing target market. So question for reflection number 1 is, are you in an expanding market or are you in a shrinking market? Number 2, design functional fashion. In the same way that Apple has put design, style, and beauty at the heart of its products, so too has Lululemon. Whether it's subtle effects such as stitching for guys or feminine frills for girls, their products scream, I care about myself and I care about the way that I look. Also, like Apple, that beautiful design is followed by function. And what Lululemon has done very successfully is responded to the needs of their customers. So they have fabrics that absorb sweat and neutralize smells. They also have little details like little pockets for keys in running shorts and other things like that. As we're learning point number 1, people buy products because of what they say about me. And what does this market want? They want to look good because they value health. They value their appearance. They want to feel classy. They want to value themselves. And they want their products to be comfortable and functional for their specific sport. Question for reflection: how well do you understand your customers? Number 3, influence the influencer. Unlike other mega brands such as Nike, Adidas, Puma, and Reebok, Lululemon has chosen not to fork out tens of millions of dollars to sponsor people like Michael Jordan and David Beckham. Instead, they've wisely opted for a more local approach, which is very effective, but more importantly, costs almost nothing. What is this approach? Well, what they simply do is go out and find 20 of the most respected yoga teachers and personal trainers and fitness leaders within a given area, and then they give them a whole bunch of gear. Cost them maybe just a few $100s, but they don't stop there. Then what they do is they go and take professional photos of all of these influencers and they blow them up, put them onto these massive canvases and put them around each of the local stores. And then there's some type of subtitle. It could be Diana Smith, owner of Chatswood Fitness, for example. So what they're effectively doing is making these influencers feel like celebrities and to become stars within their local area, hence helping them to actually grow their business. Now I wonder, when was the last time a company like Nike or Adidas helped a person to grow their business? Never. Now what happens is that as they help that person's business to grow, they then reach more and more customers, and all of their customers look look at their trainer as a god and says, oh, I want to be wearing what they're wearing, and what gear would you use and recommend? And what do they say? Lululemon, of course. So it's a fantastic win-win, because as they help their trainers to expand their business as well and they get more customers, that's more customers coming straight back into the store. And when you've got maybe 50 to 100 people coming in, that's potentially worth tens of thousands of dollars for just maybe, a few shirts and a few pairs of shorts. Fantastic deal. Question for reflection. Who else's business are you helping to grow so they'll in turn help to grow your business? Number 4, know your customers by name. If you visit a Lululemon outlet, you'll notice that there's a number of unique differences. One of them is that on all of the change rooms, there's a little mini whiteboard out the front. And when you go in to try on some clothing, the sales assistant there will ask for your name and then will write your name onto that little whiteboard. Then for the rest of your time there in the store and when you're trying on all of your gear, they will always refer to you by name. This makes people feel like individuals, and it really personalizes the whole experience. Then from there, as different assistants go backwards and forwards, every single person then in the shop knows your name, and they'll go back and they'll get other designs and other colors and other styles. Again, always making you feel like an individual, feel like a real person. From there, these shop assistants will go back and forth as many times as needed to bring you other styles and other colors and designs. And what's really cool as well is they keep proactively asking you questions. Again, always referring to you by name, but saying, where are you going to be wearing these clothes? What type of sports are you going to be participating in? And then they give you their feedback, their opinion on what you actually need. So you might only go in with getting one item, but by the time that you've left, you've probably got 5 or 6 different items that you didn't even know that you needed. But it's just because you've had a great connection with the assistant, they've referred to you by name, and that rapport then translates into a $600 sale. Question for reflection. How are you making each of your customers feel special? Number 5, encourage your staff to dream. Another one of the things that you'll see in a Lululemon store is 1, 5 and 10-year goals of all of their staff. Now, I'm not talking about KPIs and targets. I'm talking about personal things, non-company goals, things like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro by 2016 or owning an apartment in New York, or all different things like that. Each of the staff are actually encouraged to write down all of their goals and actually share them with other staff, and also share them with all of their customers as well. This makes every single staff member feel like that they're valued, and they don't just exist just to sell gear, but they're actually encouraged to achieve their personal goals. Having now read a number of the goals of the staff, one of the things that I find the most interesting is the number of people that write down that they want to be a store manager or even to own their own Lululemon store, which really shows the strength of the brand. Question for reflection. Do you know the personal goals and dreams of your staff? Number 6, listen to customer feedback. A lot of companies will say, we welcome your feedback. However, the reality is that they couldn't really care less. Seriously, when was the last time that Adidas really cared about your opinion and then actually did something about it? The answer is never. So why bother saying anything, because you're only really wasting your breath anyway. However, at Lululemon, at every one of their stores, they have a big blackboard that actually has a title with design feedback at the top. Tell us what you think. What they then do is, if you ever pass on any feedback, the staff will actually walk you over to the blackboard, and then you can write down your ideas and suggestions in order to make the products better. You might say, I want more adjustable straps, or I want a pocket that fits the size of my iPod, or I'd like to have this garment in this particular color, whatever it is. Then what happens is each of the different regional managers will visit the stores every month and will take this feedback and then pass it directly on to head office in Vancouver. So what is happening is customers are really having a say, and their voices are actually really being heard, and their opinions directly affect the types of products get made. And this really binds these customers to the brand and helps them to become incredibly loyal. Question for reflection. When was the last time that you asked your customers for feedback? And then, when was the last time you did something about it? Number 7, don't sell, educate. Lululemon believes that people don't want to be sold to, they want to be educated, and they're right. So to further expand on this, Lululemon doesn't even call their staff employees or salespeople. They actually call their staff educators, and that's how they see themselves. And what they do is they provide a whole series of workshops, free workshops for their customers in their store. So they might run workshops like a free introduction to yoga or healthy cooking made easy or something along those lines. And they invite in other experts to run these workshops for free, which helps them and it also helps the customers, and when they're in the store, guess what happens? They buy more things. Now I know there might be some businesses out there that might be going, okay, well I don't know if this education thing can really work for me. I don't have a retail store. However, this strategy works for just about any business. If you're, say, a builder perhaps, you might run a free workshop about how to prepare your home for someone who is aging. Or if you're an accountant, you might run something called how to legally reduce your tax and put on a free seminar or workshop. Or maybe if you're even a local florist, how to put the sparkle back in your relationship. It really doesn't matter what business that you have, it can be applied to almost anything. And if you don't have some space, then you can either rent some, or if your clients happen to be spread right across the country or right around the world, then one of the other things that you can do is run a webinar as well. So remember, understand this principle. People don't like to be sold to, but everyone loves to be educated, and when you educate them, they will buy from you more often. Question for reflection. What are some topics that you're passionate about, and how can you turn these into some type of free workshop or event? Number 8, have a global online strategy. Despite having physical stores in only a handful of countries, Lululemon proudly advertises on their website that they ship to over 65 countries, unlike a lot of other companies that unfortunately say, sorry, we do not ship to any country outside the USA. Clearly, Lululemon is one of the companies that understands the fact that the world is shrinking. And someone might be, say for example, from Denmark on holidays in Canada, and they might just buy a single item in a retail store, but then come back and love the product so much and decide that they want to go out and buy an entire wardrobe, and they can do that online. But the benefits don't just stop there, because then when they go to their next yoga class, they might have a whole bunch of people go up to them and say, hey, where did you buy that beautiful top or those beautiful tights or whatever? And then you've got a whole lot of additional customers as well, which sends more people to the website, more people buy. And the benefit of this is, even though they may not have any retail stores in Denmark, what you're doing is creating literally thousands and thousands of customers there, in essence priming the pump, so when you do expand in your retail business, you've already got massive brand awareness. Question for reflection. Are you thinking about taking your business global? And how much time and effort have you spent on your website? Number 9, set your prices high. Even though I did say I was going to share with you 8 secrets, I'm actually now going to give you a bonus one. You see, by doing all of the 8 things mentioned above, Lululemon is able to charge $95 for a t-shirt. That's 2 to 3 times more than their competition, and people are still happy to pay for it. And this gives Lululemon what every business needs, and that is a high profit margin. This means that they can expand more rapidly, they can secure the best locations, and they can invest in the growth of their international markets. Now I know there are some people that say that they need to be competitive on price, but in the example of Lululemon, this is really proved to be a myth. If you build a brand that has intangible benefits where customers become an integral part of the whole brand experience, they're listened to, they're valued, and you give great service, then people will happily spend more money with you. And going back to one of my earlier points, remember how I said people buy products because of what it says about them? If they go out and buy cheap products, what does it say about them? That they're cheap. So there's a lot of people out there that actually are happy to spend more money because of what it says about them. Question for reflection. What do you need to do in your business to start charging premium prices? Final thoughts. Having done my research for this presentation, I've discovered that Lululemon Athletica is now publicly traded on the NASDAQ, the American Stock Exchange. Now, part of me was really excited that they've gone on to achieve massive financial success, and the other part of me was a little bit disappointed because my illusion of a renegade company run by tree-hugging hippies has kind of been smashed. However, I suppose that's really a good thing, because it shows that if you do enough of the things right, the moral of the story is that your business will grow and prosper, and like Lululemon, you might even go on to become a billion-dollar company as well. So thanks for watching this presentation. Hope you've enjoyed it. Now have fun putting these ideas into practice. Before we close, I'd now like to ask for your feedback and comments. Are you a fan of Lululemon? If so, what are some of the things that you admire about the company? Or if you've disagreed with any of the points shared in this particular article, please let me know in the comment section below. Plus, if you've enjoyed this video, click on the like button, and better still, grab the link and share it with other people that you know. That wraps up this presentation. I look forward to chatting again next time.